The South Florida Times is speaking with Alan Brown, president of the Broward County chapter of the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, and we are discussing the organization's most recent election process where a controversy has arose where Mr. Brown was supposedly removed from his position. Mr. Brown, tell us about that process and what is the current situation.
Mr. Jones, first of all, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do thorough research and meet with us. The current status. Our organization, the Broward Chapter 834, the Democratic Black Caucus of Broward County, Chapter 834, we challenged that election where Mr. Josh Brown stated that he was elected to the presidency without opposition. And we had a grievance hearing. And as of today, as you are familiar with, that grievance ruled in our favor as far as recommending that I continue to be the president, and that further suggestions were made that the findings be reviewed by the executive committee. And that's where we at right now in this process.
What do you want to see happen?
Well, what is really important, that a fair election must take place. Therefore, to be fair to the members, it'll be fair to our county participants, members who participate. And it's imperative that we stay focused and continue the good work of the Democratic Black Caucus of Broward County.
Okay. Why did you challenge the election?
Well, first of all, the process, the way they went about stating that I was removed. I never received any written document by the state president of the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, Miss Lizzie Jenkins. I never received any notification concerning cause or reason for my removal. And they stated only that a motion was made at an executive meeting by a Miss Ruth Lynch, and that was totally out of order. So again, and the night of that election, we had to cancel that election because the president called me that day around 12 or 1300 hours, 1 o'clock, stating that I wasn't the president and that I was removed. So to make sure all matters was cleared up and that a fair process can take place, at that time I had the meeting, I had to cancel the meeting until we can get clear verification as far as what the president was referring to. At that time, Miss Ruth Lynch redirected everyone to her residency and they held an election. And as you know, and now hopefully through your research, people have read your articles and other statements that's been out there that the change of location without proper notification, that's a violation in itself. And that was filed as far as changing the election without proper notification.
Okay, tell me about the money and the solicitations of funds that the organization is currently doing.
Well, I have a serious concern with that, a serious concern. As you know, the Democratic Black Caucus of Broward County, our chapter, the legal chapter 834, which we went through a lot of hard work to attain, our charter expires in July of this month, and we have to go through the process of recertification. And that's why we're trying to make sure we try to remedy this matter quickly as possible so we can continue to do the work that we're doing. But when it was brought to my attention that at a recent meeting on April 13th, that some of the materials that Josh Brown group, this...
And who is Josh Brown?
Josh Brown is, again, he's
the current president?
The current president who the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida state president have pretty much gave her blessings to, according to some of her statements. But some of the materials that was retrieved states that monies was being solicited for concerning for business advertisement. And without a charter, without a proper charter being properly sanctioned, without the proper bylaws, this is a serious concern. This is very alarming. And this must be dealt with immediately. Normally, organizations, when going through a grievance, the president or the executive board will call a stop action of activities. Therefore, until a proper process has been pretty much exhausted and parties are heard, and that process determine at the end the way that organization or that county should proceed. But to jump the gun and continue with these activities is a serious concern.
Now, by activities, you mean soliciting funds for whatever purpose in the name of the organization?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you know if they, soliciting is one thing, receiving is another. Do you know if they actually received any funds or not?
Right now, we're in the process trying to verify if a bank account been established, and no one had returned any calls. And I think you tried notifying them, trying to make contact with them, and again, no one is returning calls.
But do you know if any funds were obtained or not?
At this time, no, I don't know.
Right. And what do you want to see or hope to see happen to resolve the election controversy and the bank account, the charter, etc.?
Well, our organization, the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, there's a procedure. And the procedure is that the grievance committee hear it, make the recommendations, and then it's supposed to be heard by the executive body. That's a procedure. That procedure should be exhausted, should be allowed without being usurped, without being interfered with. Let that process happen. We had the grievance hearing, again, the ruling. Now the next step is letting it be reviewed by the executive committee. Hopefully, I would like to see that process be exhausted.
The state party chairperson, Karen Thurman, what would you like to say to her or like to see her do in this regard?
Well, right now, the Florida Democratic Party, which our chapter, the Democratic Black Caucus, all chapters and caucuses must fall within the bylaws, and to make sure we're on the same page there. But right now, the arena we're in right now is the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, and the procedure step we're at right now is for the executive board to review the findings. And at this time, it will help if Karen Thurman will inform, being that she's the president, the chair of the Florida Democratic Party, it will help that she inform her committee people. For an example, Diane Glaser, not to show bias. I'm not saying that it's being shown, but not to show bias by attending these so-called, until we get some clarity and a ruling, these meetings, and giving support to this other group.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. For the South Florida Times, I'm Elgin Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.